How fucking cool is that? Hey, you weren't expecting that, were you? No, I'm really fucking with the format these days, aren't I? I want to keep, I just want to keep it interesting. So that was Fast Song from disc 2 of Censor Stacked Up XX. That is the re-release of Stacked Up. Censor, they've retweeted the fuck out of the last podcast. It's been awesome, and thanks a lot if any of you guys are listening. They gave me permission to play Fast Song from CD 2 of the Censor Stacked Up XX. If that is not in your stocking this Christmas, I'd be disappointed if I was you. And if you're looking at getting a stocking filler for somebody, get it. It's really cool. Here's the box. I've got a little box here. This is the thing I tried to buy off them when I saw them and they wouldn't sell me. So I went online and bought it. We've got a nice booklet in here. There you go. This is the booklet. Isn't that interesting? Then you get 2 cardboard sleeved CDs, which is really cool. With all the tracks, so there's basically the whole album is remastered and sounds fucking great, and then there's an 11 tracks on CD 2. There is 3 songs that were never released, which is Twice As, Tin Can Hurricane, and Fast Song. You just heard Fast Song. Never previously released, so that is pretty much an exclusive here, motherfuckers. You see how far we've come in a year? It's amazing, isn't it? With your help, this time next year, I'll be fucking playing drums on the new Metallica album. Someone's got to. Hey, and you also got a little Censor keyring. Oh, bless, isn't that nice? A little Censor keyring, isn't it? And a Censor plectrum. Gonna give that as a Christmas gift to one of the guitarists in Acid Rain. That should sort me out nicely for Christmas. All of that comes in a really cool box and is autographed by all the members on the inside sleeve. It's really cool, and the booklet is very cool as well. Tells you all about each individual track as to why it didn't get released or the particular mix. So it's a guide to CD 2. It's a great package. It's a wonderful addition to any collection. I suggest you get online and you buy that now. Censor, SENSER, censor.co.uk. Get on there. Get some fucking music purchased. This is pretty cool actually, because I've just finished I've just finished part 1. Here we are, part 2, and I've just sent it across to. It's actually transferring as we speak on my laptop. Across to Craig, and Craig has just sent me a message because he's all excited, as he's rightly to be, because he wasn't expecting it to appear in his inbox this quickly, and for some reason, there it is. Yeah, here we go. What's his message say? All right, Craig, this must be weird for you, isn't it? Because you remember sending this. Hey. Oh, he said, is that on the server? Right, just transferring now, mate. Okay. Isn't this great, listening to somebody sending a text message? I've become one of those really annoying people. You know, those people who check their phone while you're speaking to them. So it's like, while you're actually talking to somebody, they're checking their phone. They're basically saying, yeah, okay, you're here and I'm talking to you, but I just want to see if there's somebody more interesting around on my phone. You cunts. I hate people who do that. If you're one of those people, fucking stop it. It's fucking rude. And as I've just demonstrated by... fucking bastard, I still not got that fly. A couple of attempts while I was mixing down part 1. Let's try and get that fly by the end of this episode. So, here we are. Part 2, motherfuckers! This part 2 is where I get to catch up with old friend... Steve Souza. That's coming up very soon. Apologies about the sound quality. I did fuck up on this one. I've got no one to blame but myself. I can't blame technology or anything else. I fucked up a little bit. It's quite quiet and dodgy at the beginning, but don't worry. Please hang in there. It does improve, and it gets a lot better, and is very cool. And it's a really cool chat. Unfortunately, it does stop. at a dead end where my laptop and everything crashed while I was Skyping him. Luckily, I managed to hold on to this and I've got this interview, so that's very cool. Yeah, there you go. And I don't okay. Look, I apologise and all the rest of it, but who else is out there getting this shit for you guys, huh? Who else? No one. I'll tell you, it's a really cool interview, Steve, as well. It's really cool. He kind of drops his guard a little bit about a few things, and we'll let you in on a few things that you weren't aware of and you won't have heard anywhere else. It's really cool. So anyway, there was still a few other things I did want to speak to you guys about. Oh yeah, my piece of metal merchandise this month is not metal. It's a DuckDuckGo t-shirt. How cool is that? Now, remember I was saying, use DuckDuckGo, not Google or any other search engine, because DuckDuckGo, and it is just DuckDuckGo.com or .net or whatever it is. Actually, that's really shitty of me, isn't it? Just to say, I don't know. Basically, it's a search engine, and it doesn't follow you. It doesn't keep a record of your searches. It's awesome, and it's just called DuckDuckGo.com. I can seriously recommend using it. They're very cool people. It's good to have a resource like that out there where you're not being tracked. And if you sign up, you can get if you sign up and basically spread the word of DuckDuckGo, you can get a free t-shirt. How cool is that? Well, I mean, it's free. It's from the States. All you have to do is pay for postage. But I got a really cool shirt. So anyway, and to continue the unprofessionalism that you used to, I'm now switching the laptop off because it is fully charged. Wow, isn't that interesting? So there you go. That's you've been listening. You've been listening that long that my laptop is completely fully charged. That's how long this shit has been going on for already. By the way, please keep sending in your top fives of the year. It'd be cool to get some of you on the show, one or two of you on the show. I did a surprise on. I was speaking to Craig the other morning. It was Sunday morning. We were just having a chat. And I didn't tell him I was recording in it. I was just asking him his top 5 albums and stuff. And then at the end of the conversation, I told him I was recording it for the January podcast. Oh, how we laughed. Oh, honestly, I'm such a crazy guy. You never know when I'm going to ring you up and record it and act like a dick. Well, you're used to it by now, isn't it? I mean, fucking hell, if I wasn't a dick, that would pretty much surprise you. So, what else have we got? What else has been going on? That TMJ thing I was telling you about, my jaw. It's slowly sorting itself out, but unfortunately, it's one of the side effects is tinnitus, which I've always managed to avoid as a metal musician all those years ago. But unfortunately, so I've got a bit of tinnitus. So I've got to stop listening to music on headphones, and it is really fucking me off. So I'm literally just on podcasts on headphones now. And it's really sort of it's cut my my consumption of metal down. It's fucking. I've got metal deficiency, man. I got a metal deficiency in my life. I don't know why I used that voice, but yeah, it's a bit of a fucker. It really is, and I've noticed I'm not fucking getting to listen to my favourite albums as much because obviously I do a lot of listening on the go, and I did a lot of listening on headphones, so that's a real fucker. But anyway, look, not that any of you give a shit, but if any of you got tinnitus out there, I feel your pain. I know what you're going through. And just so you know, Adam from Acid Rain has very bad tinnitus, and that's pretty much the reason why he's not doing the Acid Rain thing, which is a shame. But there you go. Anyway. What else has been going on? Back to these cores again. I mean, we talked about naturecore and stuff back a few episodes ago, and somebody told me about boogie death metal. Seriously? Boogie death metal? Is that a thing? Is that really a fucking thing? Do you like boogie death metal? Are you in a boogie death metal band? Please do get in touch so we can kick the living shit out of you. I mean, seriously, boogie death metal. If anybody can tell me who a boogie death metal band are, I'd love to know. I also got sent a very interesting link, and this is the just how fucking weird, right? The website is called Metal Female Voices Fest.be. That is Metal Female Voices Fest.be. So basically what you're talking about there is, as far as I'm concerned, the ultimate in shit metal fests. I mean, what are you talking about? Feel free to have a look at the website. I'm not quite sure who's on. In fact, let's have a look. Right, you are now essentially just listening to somebody surf the net. And I could have actually done this before the show started, couldn't I? And actually been organised. And it's amazing. I'm just looking at the poster now, and it is just fucking hell. Why the long face, dear? Jesus Christ, she looks like a horse. Good, no word of a lie. Fuck me, Queen of the Pies. Dear me. This is really sexist of me. I do appreciate that. I am sorry about this, but fucking hell, it's just weird. It's just weird. Metal Female Voices United cover band project, starring Elaine Jimenez from Sirena, Maxi Nil, I shit you not, that's her name, Maxi Nil of Jaded Star, Carolina Pacan of Skeptical Minds, Ileana Tizaraki of Enemy of Reality, Jesus Christ. Fucking enemy of the pies, if you ask me. Sorry, this is really... I do apologise. I am aware how objectifying I'm being and what a tosser, but it's kind of funny too, so can we just carry on for a minute? Mariangela the Murtas of Tristiana. I mean, is that even a fucking name? Sounds like a fucking compound. Cassandra Novel of Nothing, and she couldn't look any less metal. It's quite cool, actually. I like the look of her. And then we've got Psycho Katima of Psycho. That's Saeko, and she looks like she's fresh out of a Japanese porn film. So there you go. If you want to go to this festival, it's if you want to go to this festival, it was Friday, October the 17th, 2014. That's quite fucking mental, and something I'm definitely not ever going to go to, but there you go. That's that's what's been going on in metal. Please do, as I said, please do get in touch with your top fives of the year. Mine's coming together quite nicely. Machine Head is definitely going to be in there. I'm fucking really liking the album. It is just very cool indeed. So anyway, look, that's enough babble from me. We've also got you've had a song up front. Fucking hell, this is amazing. It's part 2. Yes. So part 2 is about to start. Well, it's not. It started, hasn't it? So anyway, here we go. Let's put my chat with Steve Zetro Souza on for y'all to listen to, and be prepared for a surprise ending. Here it is. It's me and Steve chatting just a couple of weeks ago.
Hello.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm doing real good.
Awesome.
Start of the day here, so just ready to start the day.
Yeah, man. Do you know what? I can't believe it's been as. First of all, you know who this is, right?
No.
I was looking forward to this. I used to sing in a band called Acid Rain.
Oh no, H! No way! Oh my god! You look different. You grew up. What the hell happened?
I know, man. It's what happened to us. What happened to us? We got old.
No. You got old. I sold my soul to the devil. I still have all my hair. I'm still here, man.
I have actually got some hair. It looks worse on Skype, to be honest. But
okay. You know what's interesting? I was thinking the other day, whatever happened to the guys from Hull, Reanimator? Whatever happened to Acid Rain? I was wondering about that. You know what I mean? It's such a trip, because I mean, for me, you know, the history is I'm almost 30 years into this now, so
yeah.
So it's quite some time, you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
and I'm still doing it, and I even have another band that I do with my son called Hatred.
I was going to say, you're still doing Hatred then?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do, because Gary's gonna be Slayer's gonna put out a new record, and Exodus can't tour with Slayer. That'll kill Gary. He can't do duty, because we're gonna do the States here in about 2 weeks with Suicidal and Slayer for I think 19 shows. So he's going to have to do double duty on those shows.
Wow.
So, so it's going to be for, it's got to play it's like half an hour, 35-minute set with Exodus, and then I think it's an hour and 10 or an hour and 15 with Slayer, with Suicidal in between.
Well, 35 minutes with Exodus. That's you're on fucking holiday, dude. 35 minutes.
No, I love that. You don't even know. We just did an hour and 40 headlining down in South America, with 13 different hotels and 22 different planes.
Oh.
It was just, it was brutal. It was killer. I mean, the fans really love their music down there. I mean, they come in droves.
Yeah.
So it's killer.
Yeah, no, I've
Are you singing at all? Or are you...
Yeah, well, look, the story with me is I took your advice. I don't know if you remember. I remember it really clearly. When we played the Bradford Queen's Hall,
right.
That was the gig, I don't know if you remember, where you went through the stage.
I do remember when I went through the stage.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing that sticks in one's mind, isn't it?
Sure. Out of all the gigs I did, I remember that one.
Yeah. And we did our set, and you came up to me afterwards. You were watching a gig in the balcony with Mimi from Music for Nations, and you came up to me afterwards, and you said, "Dude, if the band doesn't work out, if you ever go into stand-up comedy, you remind me of a smaller version of Sam Kinison, of course, who was still alive then."
Right.
I've been doing stand-up for 15 years, bro.
Really? Good for you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you were hilarious, and it's hard to bottle the charisma. It really is. And if you got it naturally, the first thing you got to not fear is the crowd. I have no fear of the crowd whatsoever. I can walk up in front of 8 people or 80,000. It doesn't bother me one bit. And I mean, like, it was 2 weeks ago in Sao Paulo, 1,500 people sold out. I went to turn around to jump on the second stage. Didn't quite judge that step too well. Boom, flat on my face in front of the whole crowd. I couldn't catch myself. I just spilled. I just laid on my back and shook my head, and just, what am I going to say? I just fell down. The fucking crowd loved it because I didn't try to act like it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
Just played it like, fuck it. Mike rolled, went rolling around. It's like, total spill. I even had some friends of mine going, hey, was watching, kind of tracking you on there, saw on YouTube that you didn't make that second step. I'm all, yeah, that's what happens when you get older. Eyesight goes. You know what I mean? Because, Gary and I are 50 this year.
Fucking hell.
Right? Fucking 50.
Wow. Jesus.
We're still playing thrash metal. You know thrash? Thrash metal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, your Cockney version of thrash. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I just can't. I can't believe it's been so long. I mean, So I've been doing stand up. I'm doing this podcast, which is started at the beginning of the year, which is going really well. And I'm. Yeah, I've done a bit of music here and there, and I'm things might be happening on that front, but
So you out opening up for fucking Rick Mayo or Lenny Henry or any of those English those guys that can't make anything over here, but they're huge over there?
Yeah.
Nigel Planer, Adrian Edmondson, all the fucking. How about Alexi Sale? Is he still around?
Yeah, he's still around. He's old and fat and sold out, and like everyone. Unfortunately, yeah. Well, you probably don't know this, but very recently Rick Mail died.
He did.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was real shame. It was just
because.
He just about 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe longer than that, he had a quad bike accident. And like it was touch and go whether he was going to survive, and then it went, and then he was fine. He went out for his morning run, came home, and they found him dead on the sofa, and not entirely sure why, but certainly wasn't rock and roll or anything like that. It was just
wow.
It's real.
Well, yeah, those quads are killers. I know so many people that I knew a kid that went, I'm going quad riding this weekend. Oh, cool, have fun. Monday I came back and the boss was on the job going, Travis died this weekend. His quad turned over on him, crushed him. It's like, whoa. It's like, man, I don't know what it is with those things, but like so many people. It's California. There's hills everywhere, you know.
It's but it's the same thing that mostly it's the same thing that people do. What they do is they go up straight up a hill, and the bike turns on them. If you go up a hill, you have to go up it sideways. You have to go diagonally. Sure. And
they're usually all rookies because Ozzy hurt himself a couple of years ago on one of those things.
Yeah,
it's just really, really dangerous. You know what I mean? People think they're a car.
Well, yeah, exactly. So what? So look, what are you doing?
Turn on them.
Hey, what are you doing with your downtime between you know before you go out with Exodus again? Are you working with Hatred? Are you just on the fucking road all the time or what?
No, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I do that too. So like. We put out 2 records in 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
And then I've got, since I rejoined Exodus, was kind of surprised. We were already writing the 3rd record. So when it breaks next year at some point, I'm going to probably record the 3rd Hatred record. And if Gary starts to tour with Slayer really extensively, which we kind of think's going to happen, even though we have a new record out, Blood In, Blood Out, so fresh, you know what I mean? It's just... I'll probably do the Hatred thing, but I think, there's talks of maybe having a guy fill in guitar player, but we don't want that, you know, as much as we can, but we know we have to work, and even though it's like my return, that may create a little bit more of an element of being able to do something like that, you know what I mean? Because still, hey, the front man's back, you know, that was there from the 80s, you know, maybe that'll create some... We haven't really crossed that bridge yet, though, although I've heard it in the back as back talk lately, so we'll see what that happens. But we definitely want to work. We want to go everywhere. Like I said, my kids are older now. I'm all done, finished with all that, and ready to go back out and fucking do this again hard like we did in the 80s, man. Remember when we were going hard with it? It was the greatest.
Oh, yeah, fucking hell. I'm totally envious. I really, really am. It's just, it's awesome.
I'm very fortunate and lucky. You don't even know who gets to do this for 30 years and respectively and have, people still want to come and see the band and are still buying the records. We hit the Billboard charts in the top 40 last week.
Yeah.
I've done that in 26 years.
Well,
you know what I mean? So.
Well, I run the mostly run the Acid Rain Facebook page, and today I posted a question. What is your favourite album of 2014 so far? And Blood In, Blood Out is way up there, way up there. Probably getting more mentions than anything else. It seems to have gone down like really, really well.
You know, it's a trip. It's like 30 years later, and all the bands that have been through, you know, they totally we still write killer shit. You know, it's still heavy. It's still violent. It's still aggressive and in your face, you know. It's still, you know, it's like you listen to every song and you're like, God damn, 30 years later, you figure the 10th record, you know, there's going to be maybe 2-3 good songs and the rest are fillers. I think this album, in fact, this is the only Exodus album for me that I don't fast forward to other songs. It's like, yeah, song 3 is cool, but I love song 4, so forward on Blood In, Blood Out. I listened to track 1 all the way to track 11, all the way through. I love the album. I just think that it was well written, well performed on everybody's part, not just myself. I think that the lead sections is just amazing. And we used to love Gary and Rick. We used to think Gary and Rick were the ultimate guitar team for Exodus, but I'd have to say that Lee and Gary are just amazing. And Lee's a great rhythm player, and Tom is really on his game, and that was back in the day when we used to take Robbie out of the mix. Jack's right in the forefront, so... Yeah,
he is. He's right up there, isn't he?
Yeah, sure. Listen to old Exodus records. You'll be like, what? Where's the bass? Robbie's in there somewhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And,
let's like that with him. Jack's so good.
But let's face it, most of us thrash bands did the same thing. Like, you know, if you were a bass player, you didn't get hurt. The ultimate, of course, is like
you were just standing there for the 5th member, just in case one of the rhythm guitar players dropped out for a second. There was a little bottom line there. The only one you really heard was Ellefson, and back in the day, everybody else was just shut out. Him and Frank Bello. Was Tom Moran shut out? Rob McKillop shut out, you know what I mean? It was just shut out. You know?
And then the ultimate shut out, Newstead. That was like, you know, why even turn up at the studio? Oh, Skype has fucked up here a bit. You still there, Steve? Yo, Zep, you still there? Ah, damn. Hang on a sec. Yeah.
So.
Exactly. That's like you said. That's technology.
That's part. They got it going on, but they really haven't figured it out totally yet. You know.
Oh yeah, I know. I had a girlfriend in Germany, and we used to Skype all the time. And some nights it was amazing. It was like you were in the room together, and other nights it's just a fucking waste of time.
Yeah, I went to South America, and I want to say and talk to my girlfriend every night. And every morning when I got up, and it'd be like I'd be holding my phone, standing on one foot under the closet fucking filter to try to get the signal. You know what I mean? Because it's just a third world down there.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this is actually a very good connection so far. It hasn't been bad at all. You're in England right now, aren't you, H?
Yeah, I am, man. I am. Yeah, still in little old England.
I love England. That's all right. We'll be there soon. I'm sure by all of May, June, July, where all the festivals are coming around and all that. We're going to be Blood In, Blood Out's a big record. It's a great return record. I'm back in the band after 10 years. There's a lot of ground we're going to cover, man.
Yeah, no, look, I can't wait. I'll tell you what, man. If there's any way I can get the band back together, we'll fucking rock up and support you.
Where's Kev at? Get hold of Kev. Get his ass out there.
Oh man, Kev is working with Bullet for My Valentine. He's been working with them for years. I mean, like.
He tech?
Yeah, he techs for him. He does all sorts. He's a bit of a just a kind of general music business guru, but
right.
but mainly teching and filling in for any member who has to go home for family reasons or anything like that. He's ended up filling in for him a few times, but man, if we can get the whole thing back together, we'll fucking rock up and support you whether you like it or not.
That would be great. You know that. Gary Holt would love that. He'd have that in a minute.
Oh man,
he's gonna trip when I tell him I'll see Tom tonight. And Lee, because King Diamond is in San Francisco tonight. We're all
is that tonight?
Yeah, in San Francisco. Yeah, so we're going to see him tonight. I don't know, probably the last time we'll see the King. I don't know. I heard he was really sick the last few years and kind of had to get a heart transplant or worked on his heart or something like that. So
yeah,
you never know. I'm 50. I go to the gym every day. I don't have a broken bone. I feel great. I feel better than I felt in the 80s.
Man, you
out, and drunk out, smoked out, and chicked out, and everything else out. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I remember you guys, all right.
Oh yeah, and everybody in the industry remembered us. Believe me, that left an impression. It's like, and every interview we do back from the 80s. So, you guys are all clean now, right? So, oh yeah, we're all clean now, definitely. We couldn't be doing this, no way, if we were fucking straight.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird. So well. Speaking of everybody, where's Rick these days?
Ricky lives with his family up in the mountain, not in the mountains, but kind of the forest part, like up in Mendocino County, which is like where they where people live in a house that's 5 miles from another house. You know what I mean? He lives with his family. He's got 2 young boys that are probably in their early teens. He works a job. He's better off doing that. He got really, really messed up over a few years' time, and it led to a lot of jail time and a lot of court-ordered drug,
rehabilitation
and all these things and rehabs. And he finally got clean. And I even 2 years ago when I wasn't in Exodus, Gary couldn't make it to a tour, so Rick stepped in. And Rick made it on a couple of tours with them, and he had a great time. And I heard he was really good, but it's just not something he can do steadily.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because I remember seeing that he'd done some stuff. But is it? I mean,
H. It takes you got to be doing this for doing this like we do it, and still doing it. I mean, you really gotta have it. This is not for everyone.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that. They think it's like, oh man, you're touring, you're a rock star, and it's great. Well, yeah, really. Come out sometime if you think this is so easy. 7 days you'll be crying for your own fucking bed waiting to go home. You know what I mean? I just know how it is. People don't like this. They can handle it for 2 or 3 days. I was like, dude, fuck, I didn't know. So my brother came out when I had the side project with Chuck Billy called Dublin Death Patrol.
Yeah, I know that too, yeah.
We cruised around England and Europe a couple of weeks, and my brother came out with us. We had a bunch of people play on the record, and at the end of the last 2 songs, we would bring them out. There'd be 12 people on stage. And my brother was one of them, and he played bass on it, and he came out, and he was like, after a week and a half, he's all, I can see how people hate this. You gotta love, you know what the time that's great of the day? The hour and a half that you get up there on stage and play. The
Absolutely.
Total bullshit. You could be traveling all fucking day. Your bus could break down. You could be sitting in you could just be bored, tired, you know what I mean? Don't want to be around everybody. It doesn't matter. You better get geared up. This is your fucking job. It's 24 hours a day, and it calls that way. You may have to get up and get on a ferry at 4 in the morning and then get across and get up and go hit customs all ragged out of your fucking bed. And they want to go through your bus, and it's just like, it's not an easy life, man. Don't think it is. It's got its glory times. It's great at the festivals or when you're playing sold-out shows and it's a Saturday night and you got nowhere to go the next night. Everybody's hanging out. Yeah, sure, it's great. And not every night's not like that. You know that. It's fucking,
Absolutely.
Those are the nights they show on TV. They don't show the nights in Texas, 12-hour ride from one fucking to the other on a bus, just going, oh, God, I've watched 6 movies. I'm going nuts. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. You know?
Oh, it's like, look, it's like any other job, and I hate to use the phrase job, but it fucking is, and it's like any other job. There's good days at the office, and there's bad days at the office.
And we do it, and that's what we do, and it's the job you chose. And when you were in the garage playing with the boys, there was 3 people watching you. You hoped that was 30, and then 300, then 3,000, then 30,000, then 300,000. You wanted that, you take it. So I welcome it. I mean, like, I sign autographs for all the fans every night. Take pictures with all the fans every night. I'm very accessible. I think they're a very important part of it. We do meet and greets. Exodus does meet and greets almost every night. You know what I mean? At our shows, and it's just part of it. So it's like not like we're not accessible like in the old days, to where it was like, oh man, there they are. I'm slipping in the back door. It's a lot different. We're a lot closer to our fans, especially with stuff like this. You know what I mean? You podcast. You can you can talk all over the world to anyone. With this, as long as you got an iPhone in your hand or it's got a camera in it, it's game, and it's a great way to do it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I had a long conversation with Craig LaCicero the other week. And
I see Craig from all the time. He lives. I'll see him tonight probably. Everybody will be out to see the King. You know what I mean? Tomorrow's Halloween. You know what I mean? This is all. There'll be people in costume tonight. I can fucking guarantee that. So it'll be Craig. Well, say hello to Craig for me, because I'm gonna. I will for sure.
I'm gonna piece all of this together. It's gonna be like a Christmas thrash metal special. There's you, Craig, and Shima from Destruction, all on one big gigantic podcast for everybody to listen to over Christmas.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel like Father fucking Christmas. I really do.
You are Father Christmas. How nice! All you need to do is grow the white beard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish I could.
That's why I cut it. I shave it. If I grew it, it'd be white. And the guys at Hatred are 25, the oldest one. So I can't be this totally old man with these young kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I watched Hatred. I mean, funnily enough, I did an interview with Nige Rocket from Onslaught when they were on tour.
We were supposed to go out with them.
Exactly. Yeah. We had a bit of a chat about that. And funnily enough, I was interviewing Andy Sneap when he got a message from Gary saying, Zet's back. And that was fucking bizarre. I mean, how did it...
But that had nothing to do with Hatred not doing it. It was like, in Europe, we thought there was going to be guarantees, but they were only doors. And we couldn't rent a bus on the merit of just doors. What if 2 people showed up,
Right.
That's my credit card that was getting... So we couldn't do that. And the only dates that had solid... guarantees were England, the UK dates, and that wasn't enough for us to fly over and do it. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be able to take care of it. So that's why we didn't do that over there. Otherwise, I was just going to take the 2 dates that they took off with Exodus to do Bang Your Head Festival and the Antwerp Open Air, and then I would have went back on tour with Patriot. So, but that didn't happen. And then the Exodus thing came down the pipe, and I started learning I had to learn the new record really fast. So
yeah, I mean, how did that work? Did you all? Was there already established melody lines? Did you just write it from scratch?
Yeah, Gary basically put a rough melody line down. And come on, how many albums have I done with Exodus? This is how we do it. I knew what to do. It wasn't like they were bringing some new guy in, going, okay, this is how we do it. I knew the formula. I know the format, so I just bit right into it. You know what I mean? And so it was pretty easy. I learned them. I just studied like a fucking college student cramming for a test, you know? And
yeah.
I learned them really, really quick, and I liked them, and I was just really into it. And so about 2 weeks later, they were done. I got the call on a Wednesday. I auditioned the songs on a Thursday. They listened to them on a Friday. They asked me if I wanted to be in on a Saturday. The world found out on a Sunday. And that next Wednesday, I started recording the album. That's how it went.
Yeah, but that's awesome, man. But that's what happens when there's that old connection. You know what I mean? When you just you know people, it's like, you know.
Oh, it wasn't like I was new in the band. I knew all the karma. I know all the old school vernacular. I know they're still the same, you know, immature jerks that they were back when we were 22 years old. You know, it was easy to get along. You know what I mean, Tom? And we still have the same funny jokes and inside jokes. We know how to get along. We know how to. Now we're much older, much more mature. Everybody knows how to respect each other's space as far as that's concerned. Yeah. And so it's almost better now than it's ever been. So. Oh, look,
I totally agree. I mean, having met up with my old guys a lot and had a bit of a chat and all that, it's just it's weird because the whole dynamic changes because it's basically. I mean, you know, look, every single one of us was an asshole at one time or another. And when you're that age, everything's so fucking important as well.
Well, because they're giving everything to you, especially us. We were on top of the world. We're on covers of magazines, big magazines, and we're 23 years old. People are giving you dope, and you got money, and you're fucking doing anything you want. You're fucking everything that moves, and you're invincible, right?
Yeah.
I can have anything I want because I'm Steve Souza from Exodus. You tell them, hey, fuck you. You tell them I said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's so arrogant and so fucked up. And as you get older, you see, like, if I saw some little shit-ass rock star, I don't care if his band was bigger than me, pull that crap, I'd probably go up and squash him like a fucking punk and say, man, let me tell you something, you little shit. You're on borrowed time right now because that's how this works. You know what I mean? And if you're lucky enough to go through being a rock star, a has-been, and then a legend like I have, then you'll be lucky. You know what I mean? So, you know, count your blessings and be cool to everyone, you know, and it's just the way it is. So now I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's going on? What's going on? How are you? Nice to see you. Before it was like, fuck you. Fuck, I ain't got time for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, but you were great guys to tour with. I mean, and we're
not the exception to the rule. We, out of everybody, this was amongst, you know, close things. We were like that. We were great. We were great to our fans and everything. We were definitely not the exception to the rule. Did we have our time? Sure we did. Everybody does. But we were not like, and I'm not mentioning names, but I know a lot of other bands very close to me that were just unapproachable.
Yeah.
In any light. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, they'll bite your fucking head off if you went up and asked for a picture. You know what I mean? Now, those bands I know now, not like that anymore at all. They're very, very, very cool, and so it's cool to see everybody's gone full circle. And to whereas we always worried about what each other was doing. Oh, their album's doing good. We got to do better.
Yeah, competition.
We're all pulling for each other. Now we don't even think about that. Any of us, and I mean those of us that are still around from the '80s, and I'm talking every band, because we're in with every band. You know, we're still alive. So are they. So it's like a fucking camaraderie thing that we've all accomplished as ourselves, you know what I mean? We're still here through the drugs, through the divorces, through coming in, back out, coming back in. We're all still fucking here, you know what I mean? So now nobody worries about what each other's. We're pulling for each other, you know?
Yeah, well, it's like this old sort of brotherhood, isn't it? There's only so many people.
I mean, look, we would have never had Chuck Billy manage us in the day. Chuck manages us now with his management firm.
Oh, damn! So look, like, if I mean, you can imagine that. It's like even if he approached you with the idea back in the day, you'd be like, he's only doing that to try and fuck us over.
Right? Exactly. We don't trust him, and you know what? We trust him so much. He's so into the band, and like the night I went to get the songs to find out, I had to sign a confidentiality agreement because if they didn't like what I was going to record there, and they were deciding to either go in another direction or stay where they were at, nobody needed to know that. And I couldn't go to the press and say, well, guess what? 2 weeks ago I did this. I signed an agreement saying I couldn't do that. It never happened.
Yeah.
And that was Chuck coming up with that. So even him and me being friends through thick and thin, from Testament, through DDP, through me writing on the last 2 Testament albums and all that stuff, it didn't matter. He managed the band, and he was looking out for their best interest as a business. This had nothing to do with personal. It was all business, and I respected the shit out of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's exactly. He's respecting his client. He's managing their name and making sure
totally.
They stay healthy.
That and even I should have been maybe appalled and shocked knowing that our trust together is what it is. I was impressed like hell that I had to sign that thing. And I kept a copy of it to have forever.
Well, the thing is that you know, and I'm sure you thought deep down, look, they're gonna this is gonna happen anyway. This is definitely gonna happen. This is gonna work. I'm sure. But
well, I mean, I know what I can do vocally. You know what I mean? I mean, it's no disrespect to anybody who used to sing in that band, but I'm sorry, I'm a singer. I've been a singer for 30 years and a front man as well. I know how to do this. I was singing with Hatred. I did the Tenet project with the Strapping Guys.
Oh, fucking hell, that was amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I keep myself busy. You listen to The Voice knows what to do, so I do a lot of things. It's not like I came off the couch with the beer and a fucking bag of potato chips and going, yeah, all right, roll it. I can do this.
Yeah,
it wasn't like that at all. I was already in tune and ready to go. And listen to my albums on Pleasures and Fabulous, H, and listen to me now. I'm fucking way better than I ever was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
the voice matures, doesn't it? And it kind of.
Well, I keep myself in tune. I keep myself in shape. I do what I have to do to take care of business. So it is one of those things.
Yeah, no, well, I'm fit and healthy myself, but I don't do nearly as much singing as you. It's more comedy for me, so I've still got to look after my voice.
Exactly, and it's like, yeah, you're talking constantly, and then when you get off stage, people want to talk, and then all day they want to talk, and then when you want to do interviews, they want to talk.
Yep.
That means you got to be careful. So certainly, I take care of my voice. Certain things that I do, you know what I mean, and I just know what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you had the confidentiality agreement and everything else, presumably you were signing that. You were thinking, well, hey, this is a good thing because this is fucking great management, and he's going to be my manager very soon.
Exactly what I felt. I said, boy, if this does go through, at least I feel confident for once. These guys got the fucking head office that they need, the front office.
Yeah.
They had the coaches and the general managers in the places that we never had. Even when we were managed by Bill Graham back in the day, they really didn't know what the fuck to do with us. And I feel that Exodus's management over the initial period from 2002 till even up till recently was very lackluster and not that good. And,
do you know what? You've just reminded me of something. Who was your tour manager? You had a female tour manager at one time.
No, she was our manager that came out just to be on the road. It was Tony Isabella, and she represented from Bill Graham Management.
Was it?
The heavy woman. Very heavy.
Yeah. Lovely woman. Really nice woman.
Great woman. She's sweet. I just seen her, talked to her recently. I see her. She manages, the guy who does the intro for our album is a big producer in the United States. He does a band called Gorillaz. I don't know if you ever heard Gorillaz before.
Fucking hell, yeah. Well, it's Damon Albarn, isn't it? And all that.
Yeah, he's the brains behind that. He does other producing. So she actually manages him, and that's how she goes. So he's called Dan the Automator, and he was he's the one who does the intro for before Black 13 starts on the new record.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find her on Twitter or something like that because we had a blast back in the day. She was really good
shit. When you told me, I'm sitting on a pile of shit right now. I couldn't believe it was you. You know what I mean?
I know. Do you know what? The weird thing is I emailed Chuck, and Chuck sent the email to Adrenaline PR, and I've been dealing with...
they're our management too, but they also handle all the interviews and stuff.
Yeah, so I've been dealing with Ariel at Adrenaline, and she sorted this all out. And I'd kind of, I sent Chuck the email saying, because I met Chuck way back in the day. And I just put a bit of background in, and I was wondering whether whether any of it would actually make it through to you, because I know how this works, and it's, most of the time no one ever knows who's on the end of the line.
No. As many interviews as I've done, H. Really, this has been since I joined the band. I started doing press, and it just bled right into blood in, blood out, and I have not. For 5 months of every day that you ask me what I do in the day, I do interviews in the day. It's unbelievable. I've got to be over thousands. I have to be. It's unbelievable. I did 18 in one day alone.
What?
Yeah, they had it set up that everybody had 25 minutes. Started at 8:30 in the morning and went till 5:30 in the afternoon.
Wow, that is. I mean,
I had to, because a lot of ground we had to cover.
After
Zetro's back in the band, we want to talk to him. You know what I mean? So
after a while, do you find yourself kind of repeating yourself and just thinking, "Fucking hell"?
I still find myself repeating myself. You know what I mean? It's just part of it. The greatest question is, so Zetro, how does it feel to be back in Exodus? I should have a T-shirt with that answer on it. Then an A, and I'll just go like this, see, like that. It's like, fuck, man. But
yeah,
it's just part of it, and I get it, and everybody wants to hear their own version of it, and I understand, so I welcome it. It's what you wanted to do. Again, remember, back to the garage.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
30 years later, I'm still out of the garage, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Did you get to hear? Were there any vocals on the album before you did it? Did you hear anything that?
There was, but I didn't hear it.
Right. Okay.
They were there. Obviously, from what I understand, that was their decision to go. I guess they didn't feel that they were up to par, and that's just speculation. That's me overhearing stuff as the mic was going off and on, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I didn't inquire. I felt respect for both sides. I figured, you know what? This is between Rob and Exodus and their management. They called me. I did not call them. There was a reason for that. Something happened that had to go down. So, and everybody's like, well, what happened? Well, I read it like you did. There was a 20-second conversation, and with due respect to all parties, I didn't really get into that. What I did was I had Gary had originally laid down a scratch vocal because he wrote most of the lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, Lee wrote Honor Killings, Gary wrote everything else. Just like the old way, and that's how I picked it up. So it wasn't like coming into something new. I'd done this before on 5 other albums, so I knew what I was doing when I went in, and I knew how to do it.
Yeah. That reminds me again of the last time I saw you. Would have been when you were you guys mixing Force of Habit over here?
Yeah, that's right. We were mixing Force of Habit with Chris Tangrides we were in London that time.
That's right. Yeah,
that's right.
I think Kev and I came along and got drunk in the studio with you all, and
right. It was about 21 years ago.
Fucking hell! And because you were on a major label by then, weren't you?
We were on Capitol, EMI. That don't mean shit. They didn't do it. If anything, they killed Exodus.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we're on Nuclear Blast, which is the best label in the world, because they're the biggest heavy metal label and they know what to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They got the shit together. Yop knows what to do. Andy Siri knows what he's doing. Marcus knows what he's doing. They all fucking know what they're doing. So that's why we love it.
Well, the majors always did fuck. You know, well, certainly with thrash bands, they just completely fucked up.
I think when it came down to it, I mean, nobody really got treated any well but Metallica. So, you know what I mean? So that was just part of it. So for all of us, we knew that, you know?
Yeah. No, it's just the way it worked out, I guess. So when you back out then, when you back on the road, is it...
November 11th in the United States, and only in the United States. We don't dip into Canada or in Mexico. It's Exodus, Suicidal Tendencies, and Slayer.
It's fucking great bill, though, isn't it?
Unbelievable bill, isn't it? Holy shit. I was telling everybody, they better go to the fucking gym and fucking practice and get it down, because I mean it's going to be the pit's going to be violent all night. There's going to be nothing but reason to pit all night long.
There's no let up. There's no let up. There's no
let up.
Yeah,
I mean, Exodus is going to kick your ass. I think we get 30 or 35 minutes, and then Suicidal gets 50 minutes, and then Slayer gets like an hour and 20. So you're just going to get finished off. You know, it's going to be unbelievable.
So
crazy.
Gary gets a little pit stop in between.
He gets a little pissed off, but he also gets 2 paychecks, so I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, well, you know, 2 jobs.
It's funny, Ice-T, we were playing Heavy Montreal, and I walked up on stage, and I see Ice-T, and he's sitting there, because Body Count played as well.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, man, your boy playing 2 sets today? And I go, yeah, and he's getting 2 paychecks, Ice. You know how that is. And he's like, yeah, he gives me his fist, told fist buzz me like, yeah, that's right, boy, get 2 paychecks. Exactly. 1 show, 2 paychecks, making more than everybody. Exactly. So
hey, I've heard some brilliant things about that Heavy Metal Montreal. What was it like?
One of the best festivals I've ever played. I mean, they really take care of you. The setting is good. It was the best gourmet food I've ever seen in a backstage ever in my life. Everything you wanted was there. You wanted steak and shrimp, they had it. I mean, it was unbelievable. You know what I mean? It was the backstage amenities were great. The crowd was really cool. The way they had it reminded me of a cool European festival. So
yeah, well, that's quite a compliment. I mean, apart from the food, obviously, but it's amazing that you say that, because I mean, I remember, you know, like back in the day, most of the food being just shit most of the time.
Yeah, spaghetti or chicken. You know what I mean? It's like, and some salad. Here, you guys can have tons of rolls. Here, there's rolls for days.
Yeah.
And now they kind of take care of the bands. Now it's like, this thing had tacos. It had fish, steak, chicken, whatever you want.
Oh, you're making me hungry, man. You're making me hungry.
Oh, yeah. Well, what time is it? You're 8. You are, what, almost 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah, 20 to 6 coming up. I'm
20 to 6.
Yeah, it's not, but yeah, I'm still feeling fucking hungry, but it's weird that it's because people listening to this will think, really, it's like, is food that important? But they don't realize, like, you know, when you're on the road and when you're trapped in one location, you're dependent on everybody else for everything.
Oh, I know. They don't understand, like, you go on tour, like, okay, we were just in South America, and that consisted of fly in, go to the hotel, drop your stuff off, take a shower, maybe nap for 3 hours, go sound check, go to the gig. After the gig, go back to the hotel for 2 hours, get up, get back, you have to go to the airport. And so you could get pizza 6 nights in a row after the gig because it's easy for them to get and bring to you.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, fuck, pizza again, you know what I mean? It's like people, oh, wow, how great is that pizza? Well, really? 7 nights in a row? That's all you're eating? Fuck that, the deli tray, the fruit bowl and pizza? You're tired of that shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you get there and it's like, no way, they got shrimp, steak, and salmon, and tacos, and all kind of pizza there too if you wanted, just homemade brick-fired shit. It's just like, wow.
Oh, man, you guys must have been like kids in a sweet shop when you saw that.
Well, we were. Everybody, that was the talk of the day. It's like,
yeah.
Dude, catering? Have you gone to catering yet? No way, yeah.
All
the bands were like, "You've been to catering?" It's like, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah, and you've got all these metal legends stood around going, "Man, I just had some of the best pasta I've ever eaten."
Oh, exactly. That's the way it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Steak and shrimp.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you finish the US tour, you with Exodus, you're then looking to go back out with your sons and Hatred.
If it's possible, I think we have the month of January. Exodus got a new album out, Blood In, Blood Out. I mean, there's hardly any ground we've covered, so they want us out on the road continuously. Especially they know that Gary is going to be tied up with Slayer at some point. You know what I mean? So they want to run this. So we're going to be busy. I got to check the schedule, but if not, I will be out with Hatred.
Yeah, because
don't worry, guys. Hatred's still going. We're writing stuff right now.
Oh, cool, man. Well, look, because you've got to try and run the Exodus album cycle as close to the new Slayer album as possible, haven't you? Because then Gary's going to be back out with that.
We know that. We are quite aware of that.
Yeah.
That's why we just got to we got to make it. We got to make sure everything's timed right. So again, if Slayer's going to be out on the road, Exodus is going to be part of it, then I'm going to have Patriot booked to do it. For sure. That's why I got both bands. It's great. Got to dip in and dip out.
Yeah, blood in, blood out, dip in, dip out.
Dip in, dip out.
Yeah, I mean, but it must be really cool as well, being able to go on the road with your sons and being able to write with your sons and stuff like that.
You always go, well, I miss my family, and well, I bring my family basically there. I'm no longer married to their mother. They do have a 16-year-old sister. We do this. She lives with her mom. But the boys, I see her all the time. The boys are, they're always, around. I see them every day. We have the band thing together, so it's really close. It's cool when they're on the road because they have this karma with me. I mean, and they're adults. One's 24, one's 21.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if they want to drink, smoke pot, whatever, I don't care. It's their business, their life. They live on their own,
Yeah.
So it's not like I got little kids I got to worry about. You know what I mean? They get it, and they know how to do it. They've been around their dad long enough, so they get it.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I mean, it's just it's a bit of a one-off. I mean, it's like you're kind of like the Partridge Family of thrash.
I always say that. We're the Partridge Family of thrash metal.
Thrash metal, mate.
Thrash metal, mate.
Awesome. So when are you? So are you guys going to be? Are you guys going to get over here for the festivals? Are you going to get a UK tour going? Anything?
May, June, July, August. We're going to be over there. You know, that's the time. It's easier to book in between the week and then weekends hit the festivals, and it's more feasible to do that than flying over every weekend, flying home, flying over every weekend, flying home. It's just easier for us. We'll probably get a tour with somebody, and then on the weekends we'll do, you know, the festivals in between. You know, a couple of them will probably fly in, fly out, but you know, it's just easier, more feasible. All metal bands are over in Europe between May and August. There's no metal bands left in the event.
And there we go. That was that. It's kind of like, what was going to happen next? Where were we going to go? But hey, I managed to save that much. That's you know, the only way of looking at this is fucking hell. At least it actually recovered the interview we'd got to that point. Again, I apologise for the quality. It was just, like I said, it's a new bit of kit that wasn't kind of totally comfortable using, and as it fucking showed. But hopefully you all enjoyed that. It was a nice, cool chat. It was interesting stuff about the non-disclosure agreement and everything else as well, which was I hadn't heard about that anywhere. So anyway, look, I hope you enjoyed it. It was really nice to surprise him right at the beginning, as well as him not knowing that it was going to be me interviewing him. I really enjoyed that, as you can hear. So what else has been going on? Well, this fucking tradition of metal bands and ugly Christmas jumpers can just fuck off. I don't want a shit jumper. I certainly don't want a shit jumper with Slayer written all over it. I mean, well, I don't, you know, you can't make something that is not cool by putting a Slayer logo on it or a Metallica logo or whatever. I just think the whole concept of these fucking stupid Christmas jumpers is getting right on my fucking nerves. I wish people would just pack it in. It's more sort of, it's the mainstreaming of metal that is going on at the moment, which fucking irritates me. And I just, it's just, I don't know. Anybody else, really? Well, you know, it's my podcast, so whatever. New AC/DC album out. Do I care? Nah, not in the least. I mean, I saw the video for the single Rock or Bust, and I don't know. I just, really? You still doing that, are you? Okay, fine. Carry on if you want with, you know, without your methed up drummer. That's still making me chuckle. He really does seem to be hanging on for grim death, though. I mean, there's some serious shit going on there, definitely. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm not knocking DC. I hate that laziness as well. Hate it when people refer to AC/DC as DC. Oh yeah, I'm off to see D. What? It's only their name is only 4 fucking letters. How do you need a shortcut for a band whose name is only 4 letters long, for fuck's sake? Unbelievable. So anyway, yeah, they're still doing that and whatever. Lars Ulrich is all set to appear in a film, Radio Dreams. So there we go. He's going to be stepping out from behind the kit, and he's going to be pretending to act instead of pretending to play the drums. That should be interesting, shouldn't it? Apparently Maiden might be nipping back into the studio. That could be interesting. The various members of Kiss seem to constantly be fucking bitching. Ace Frehley moaning about Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons and all. Oh fucking hell! I mean, you all know what I think of Kiss, which is very fucking little. But you know, seriously, just shut up, please. Just stop talking. Go away. And speaking of going away and just stopping, am I the only person in the entire world who wonders why the fuck Papa Roach are still making records? How the fuck is that possible? I mean, really, if you're out there and you're into Papa Roach and you like them, I'm presuming you've come across this podcast by accident, because this is the anti-Papa Roach podcast of all podcasts. What the fuck? How do they still have a career. How the fuck is it possible for Papa Roach to still be going? Surely not. I mean, it just boggles my mind that they could still be going. It is just... How is that fucking possible when perfectly good bands split up and are no more, and yet, oh no, they're still coming. Oh, brilliant. How fun is that, honestly? In other news, a sort of newish new metal band that I like are called 36 Crazy Fists, and there's a new album coming out. So hopefully I might get them on the podcast. And I don't know, they are one of those bands, I don't know what it is about them. But I just like them. I honestly don't know why. I probably shouldn't. Some of you listening will be disappointed that I do, but I seriously, there's just something about them. Oh fucking hell! I've just got a message flashed up on my phone. What a coincidence! As this pops up, Papa Roach's Jacoby Shaddix. For a start, if your name's Jacoby Shaddix, fucking do one. Seriously, that's got to be a made-up name. Recalls on the road debauchery with Eminem. We were young and wild, yeah, and now you're an old tattooed cunt, mate. You really fucking are. Honest. Oh, so much hate for the Papa Roach. They're like, I don't know. They're like modern Kiss. They're like a new Kiss for me. But, you know, whatever. Oh, and of course, Dave Ellefson came out and supported Lars Ulrich. Said Ulrich was right to fight Napster. I'm not so sure about that. I'm really not so sure about that. Other things going on. Killer Be Killed, very good album. Might be in my top 5. Killer Be Killed are going to be back. They're doing a few fests, so could be coming to a festival / gig near you. Let's keep an ear out for that, shall we? Just the Kiss stuff continues, doesn't it? All fucking moaning. I don't know where that came from, to be honest with you. I'm just fucking jibber jabbering now, aren't I? Look, it's been a fucking amazing year. This year, I've managed. It looks like I'm going to manage to kick Acid Rain into some kind of shape, into some gigging shape. That's going to be fucking cool. And this podcast has gone from strength to strength, and the stand-up continues to be something that I do a hell of a lot of and really enjoy. And who knows what next year is going to bring? It's exciting times here in Talking Bollocks Towers. And instead of just piling in to the next and last interview, which will be with Igor, I thought it would be time to let's have some more tunes, because that's what I'm all about at the moment. Yeah, bringing you some new tunes. So this is the second track off the Scimitar Plague in the Vatican EP. There's only 3 tracks, so we'll have the third at the end of the podcast, but this is the second track, and this is called Black Death. So that's Black Death from Scimitar, and from the EP Plague in the Vatican. So go and check them out on Facebook, YouTube. Scimitar's the band, and look, the song submissions have cooled down greatly. If you know any bands who want to get some exposure and want to get some airplay, then please do send them my way. Tell them, because I've got a whole year of podcasts to do next year, and no songs lined up at the moment. So if you know anybody in a band, or you're in a band yourself and you want to send some stuff in, please do. We'll give you some exposure. If you're not shit, if you are shit, you will get an email back saying, sorry, this is shit. But it'll be worded nicely. Well, sort of. It'll just be fuck off, you cunt. Winding down now, because we're into this is the third hour of the podcast. How fucking cool is this? I hope you're all you've enjoyed your Christmas dinner or whatever, and you're all fucking stuffed and just chilling out, or whether you've saved part 2 of the podcast for between Christmas and New Year or whatever. There might be another little special surprise coming your way between Christmas and New Year. Well, there is a little bit of a podcast coming, but that'll just appear in your devices one day. So look forward to that. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, I hope you're all enjoying the festive period, and you're all taking it easy. You've all got your metal Christmas jumpers on, and you're fucking setting fire to them because they're shit. And you watch. I bet I go home and I get a fucking Slayer Christmas jumper or something. I bet that fucking happens. I'll bet you. In fact, I know exactly what one of my presents is, and it's a bottle of Slayer wine. Now, this actually leads me onto something I wasn't actually planning on talking about, but again, it's the mainstreaming of metal, and just all the branding that's going on. I mean, Anthrax have got Indians Bourbon coming out. Seriously, bourbon, however you fucking pronounce it. Tomato, let's call the whole thing off. Alternatively, you could just piss off. Anyway, it's just all this different shit coming out with bands' names on it, and it's just It is the mainstreaming of metal. That is what I am calling it. It's just metal bands doing stuff that is extremely mainstream. I can't think of anything else to do it. And the reason is because fuckers out there aren't buying fucking music. Right? You're not buying music. It's unbelievable, right? I got through some Acid Rain sales figures the other day, right? For the Apple Core Archives in the UK. We sold 474 copies as of about 3 weeks ago. And do you know what I was told? I was told that those were very respectable figures. Bearing in mind we haven't released anything in 20 odd years, and there was little or no promotion. But I was told that was respectable figure. 474 copies is respectable. That is how little people are buying music. It is absolutely fucking scary. I don't know where the next generation of bands is coming from. Basically, being in a band is just going to be something that... It's just going to be a pain in the arse kind of job. It's something that, all musicians in the future are going to have fucking day jobs. No one's going to be... It's the way it's going to be. It's fucking scary. Although it was an interesting interview that I did with Protest the Hero, Roddy, which will be in January, because they obviously had an amazing fucking crowdfunding experience. They were after $80,000 to do the next album, and they got that target in 9 hours, and it kept going, and they ended up with $300,000. How fucking insane is that? But yeah, I just don't know where the next generation of bands are coming from, what they're going to do. It's such it is, and as you've seen possibly over the year, you've seen the topic keep coming up, interviewing bands, and there's everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about how everything's changing, and it's constantly changing. It's not like we've got some solid ground to be on, or we've reached a plateau and we're just going to stay here and regroup and see what the music business does next. It's changing week by fucking week, and it's bizarre. It really is. And moving on to one of the biggest bands out there at the moment, which is Avenged Sevenfold, or as I like to call them, Avenged Sevenfuck. Their last album, I really hadn't appreciated just how derivative and almost blatant rip-off styley that it was. And a friend lent me a copy and said, listen to it and tell me what you think. And what I thought was, fucking hell, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, all of these bands need to be suing Avenged Sevenfold. Unfucking believable. It's fucking scary. It's fucking scary. They've basically just gone out and ripped off every decent riff that you've heard in the 90s. The album's called Hail to the King. That song itself is a kind of sad but true rip-off. And speaking as somebody who's been in a band, right, what I don't get is I've been in a room with guys where somebody comes up with a riff or something like that, and you go, oh, and you all look at each other and go, oh, that's fucking great, but yeah, we can't do that. That sounds way too much like Metallica, or that sounds too much like Slayer, or it'd be great, but we can't do that because it sounds too much like so and so. It would appear the exact opposite discussion took place in Avenged Sevenfold's rehearsal room when they went, oh wow, yeah, no, that sounds exactly like Metallica. Do more of that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Just change the melody line slightly and let's be more like that. I just do not understand how a band with any creativity whatsoever can stand by and write stuff that is so blatantly derived from another band and then have the brass neck to go and fucking tour it in stadiums and wander around on stage like they're in a shopping mall, because that's what they did, because I accidentally went to see them. Free ticket, long story, but I hate that friend now. I fucking really do, for taking me to that shit. So if you get a chance to listen to Avenged Sevenfold, Hail the King, please do, and then buy the CD and then smash it up. Smash it. What am I talking about? Buy the CD. No, don't. Just fucking don't pay it any attention. In fact, don't pay me any attention whatsoever. I'm waffling. Jibber jabber has gone on too long. Let's have a chat with... this is the final interview across... and this was the most recent one that was done. This is the final one of the Christmas Thrash Metal special. Thanks for hanging in there. This is my chat with Iggor Cavalera. Hello?
Yes?
Hi, is that Igor?
Yeah, this is him.
Hey, hi there. It's Howard calling from All About the Rock.
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm really well, man. How are you?
Good, great, yeah.
Cool. Are you in London at the moment?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm the other side of London, so this is for some reason seems a bit weird, because I'm usually doing this like over Skype or face to face. It's kind of weird that it's like across town. It feels like I'm calling one of my buddies.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do Skype, I'm okay with it. If you prefer.
No. This is cool, man. This is probably easier actually, because the setup I use is probably better through a phone. So this is all good.
Okay.
All good. Let me give you a kind of brief rundown of what's happening this end, basically.
Okay.
The podcast is called Talking Bollocks. The humorous name comes from the fact that I used to be a singer in a UK thrash band called Acid Rain many years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, right, cool, man, cool.
The band, yeah, I'm familiar with the band.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Well, cool. That's a good start. I've been doing stand-up comedy for the last 15 years, so yeah, a little bit of a break from music, and now I'm doing a metal podcast for fun more than anything else. And so if it's okay, we'll just talk some bollocks for a while.
Yeah, that sounds good, man.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, first of all, obviously we'll get to the new album and everything else. But my first question was, how long have you lived in London?
I've been here for about a year and a half.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, like I've been to London for many years, and in Spain here for periods where we needed tour, and I made London kind of like my base in Europe.
Right.
And finally, we decided like I didn't want to stay in Brazil for much, so we decided to come to London, move to London. So I'm pretty much full time here now, where it's almost like my main base now. It's London, and it's been a little over like a year and a half.
Cool, Matt. Well, we'll call you a Brazilian then.
That's it, man. That's it.
Cool, man.
That's what I'm becoming. I'm still adapting to the London life, but I have to say I really enjoy much more as I live here rather than to visit. I think the city is very special when you live here and you discover certain things and you become more adept to it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not from here, but I've lived here 20 years, and so a little longer than you. But I honestly, I still love it. I still appreciate the city. I still love the the culture and the fact there's so much to do, and there's all the museums are free, and there's so many parks, and it's a pretty cool place. Well, I'm glad to hear you're enjoying your stay.
Yeah, I think it's one of the coolest, for definitely in my opinion, one of the coolest cities in the world. Like you're saying, of course the parks make it very special, and but it's really cool. I really love the energy that London has.
Do you get back to Brazil much?
Yeah, that's also the thing. The fact that I do Cavalera and then also Mixel, I do get to go to Brazil quite often. So it's also cool that I don't get that crazy like homesick. I'm always like back and forth doing stuff. So
yeah. Were you home for the World Cup?
I was here. I had some shows here, so I decided to stay, which now looking after all the mayhem, I think it was a good choice.
By the mayhem, do you mean the semi-final result?
Yes, exactly. It was insane for any Brazilian to see that kind of result. So especially at home, we never expected that to happen.
Hey man, never mind for Brazilian, it was fucking bizarre for the rest of the world as well.
Yeah, I mean, like as a football lover,
yeah,
I think it was crazy. It's like, but at the same time, I think they got what they deserve. I think Germany only did their job.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, look, I'm a Leeds United fan, so I don't know how informed you are about UK football, but as far as Leeds United goes, we're pretty much that kind of semi-final performance of your guys every fucking week. So, well,
I've seen some good Leeds games back in the past. I think I have to say.
Yeah.
It's a bad phase for now, but I think Leeds, and of course has such a passionate, crowd.
Well, yeah, but unfortunately the downtimes have been 12 years, which is just.
I know it's way too much. I think Leeds should be back.
Yeah, totally.
Where it deserves, I think.
Totally. And how are Palmeiras doing? Are you still keeping in touch with them?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like once you moved, I somehow got really into, of course, the Premier League and I go to a lot of games and also like different divisions. I've been to Leyton Orient, also like to their stadiums, watch a few games.
Cool.
So it's really cool. I think of course London has so many options, so many teams, and
yeah.
I live in North London, so I go to see Arsenal also play a lot. So I really enjoy, And then of course I'm a bit more distant from Palmeiras right now, which
yeah.
I think it's a good thing. We're not doing that great, so it's a good year, to be away from it.
Have you noticed as well the difference between it's kind of like the polar opposites of watching football in the Premier League with just like, especially at Arsenal, it's a nice modern new stadium and there's everything there for you, and then going back to Brazil and watching football there where it hasn't changed that much. At least that's my kind of take on it in the last sort of 10-20 years.
Yeah, I mean, I also have to say that, I find, the Brazilian football sometimes, after, of course, watching a lot of the Premier League, I think the games are faster, which I really enjoy. Yeah. Where in Brazil, I think they have a tendency of stopping the game too much.
Yeah.
In the sense that a lot of players, they do a lot of, like the pretending, a lot of fouls and things like that. So the game, it becomes annoying.
Yeah.
Sometimes, where I find here in the Premier League especially, the tougher the player, the more the crowd will be enthusiastic about it, rather than somebody just, faking every 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah, no, that's that, so we hate
so
diving.
So at that point, I think it's way more positive to see the games here than in Brazil. Of course, Brazil has a lot of, like, raw talent, but at the same time, football-wise, I think it's too much drama. It's almost like watching a soap opera.
That's that's a very good way of putting it. And even during the World Cup, there was a bit of that as well. It was getting a bit kind of like, and I think that's why, obviously, when that injury happened to Neymar, kind of everybody on the sort of UK TV was going, "Oh, he'll be okay," because he'd been rolling around quite a lot like that.
Yeah, I mean, in between him being a small guy and getting, hurt and also faking it, you never know what happened to him,
Yeah.
You never know when he's serious about. So it's. I think it's fair to say that we didn't know if how crazy it was, his injury, until afterwards, where he really stopped for a few, games and everything.
Yeah, no, it was amazing because, I woke up the following morning to see all the medical reports and I was like, wow, just expected him to be fit for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely not him faking. I mean, he would never, miss out. That was the chance of his lifetime to be a champion at home,
Oh man, yeah, I really, really felt bad for him. I mean, I kind of really wasn't bothered who won, and then when that happened to him, I was like, oh, I really, really want to, I really want Brazil to win now. And then you go, then you got mullered in the next game.
Yeah, I mean, Germany winning is never good for humanity. No matter how great they play, it doesn't look good for humanity when they win.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, it's great. It's great to be able to talk football with somebody doing an interview. It makes a real change. But I of all these years later, and I want to go back to maybe a kind of painful experience. Of course, I was at the Brixton Academy, your last show with Sepultura, when it was the original lineup, and I don't want to dredge up the past too much, but it's just kind of weird how, like, now you live in London. All those years ago, all that shit went down in London. It seems to be a kind of pivotal city in your life.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. Of course, during that tour, we already kind of like knew, what was coming as far as like, the whole situation with the band. And then London, of course, by being the last show on that tour, we knew that was going to be kind of like a set that was be set in the history of the band, whereas the last show with the classic lineup is, like that's how I like to put it.
Yeah, definitely.
Not the original, but the classic one.
Okay, yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah, so it's I've been back a few times to play and to watch a few gigs at Brixton, and it's it brings some memories, definitely.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I think I saw you at the LA too, because you did a club tour in the UK before that that sort of full Roots tour. You did a club tour as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that was just after Euro '96. Because I think I remember Andreas wearing an England shirt on stage.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. That was like, we did kind of like a club tour preparing for the whole thing, before, and then of course we came back.
Yeah, I mean,
the Roots tour.
Well, just so you know, I mean, I got a ticket for that show, for the LA 2 show. It was kind of like, the Astoria 2. It was kind of like an underground venue. And I managed to get a ticket for that because a friend worked at a record store and there was 2 spare tickets going, and she was like, oh my god, because they were like gold dust, so she just got them, and me and a friend went to that gig, and believe it or not, that is still to this day the gig that we both rate as the best metal show that we've been to, and we've been to a lot.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it was fun. I remember the night being a lot of fun. Also, because of the fact that it was such an intimate, gig.
Yeah, and
at that point on our career, it was definitely like a special night. We also felt kind of like the same way, because London, of course, it has a very special place for us. But to come back and play like a smaller gig, that was really special. It's almost like going back to the Marquee. Back in the 80s and stuff, so it was really cool. Yeah,
because it was just down the road from the Marquee. As I'm sure you've seen, it's a huge fucking building site at the moment.
Yeah,
which is so depressing. I know, so
it's all memory.
I know, it's horrible. I walk past it nearly every day, and I'm like, oh, that sucks so much. But I don't know if you remember as well. That night was so fucking hot. It was, honestly, it was like. God knows it was just. I mean, that summer was hot anyway, but it was crazy. It was one of those gigs where we came out, and when you came out, it looked like you'd been in a bath. I
know, man. It was for us to play. Also, it was quite insane.
Yeah.
Of course, the stage with the lights and everything, it makes even almost like you're in an oven. So it was a crazy hot night. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, things kind of went their way of things. You remained in the band, and then I know you kind of took some time off, and then and then quit, and obviously you had your kind of reunion with Max, which is really, really cool. Yeah. I read Max's autobiography recently. Are you tempted to do one of yours, or are your entries in his going to be as close as you get to writing one yourself?
I don't know. Not for now. It's not something that I would do it maybe in the future, because I think the cool thing about if I do one, it will be the same. Some of the same topics, but with a complete different feel.
Yeah.
And that's, I found, I heard some people complaining about like how, it wasn't accurate on some things, or here and there, like some friends. And I was like, look, that's his point of view.
Yeah.
And maybe we were all there and we had a complete different, idea of what was going on. And that's, I think, the beauty of it,
Oh, absolutely.
It all happened, but it's all, for different people, it has different effects on certain things, so it's cool.
Yeah,
but it's definitely not something that I'm planning to do right now. Maybe in a few years, or I don't know. But it's not in my plans for sure.
Well, you know what they say is there's 3 sides to every story: my side, your side, and the truth.
And then and I think that's really cool. Like a lot of people. Like I said, they were a bit, pissed off, and I was like, look, sometimes you go to a place and you with your friend, and you come back and you have a completely different view of what happened that night, and it's the same thing,
Well, yeah, the police say, eyewitness testimony is completely unreliable, because you take 3 people see the exact same incident, and they describe 3 completely different events.
Yeah, and that's fine with me,
Well, yeah, I guess it's close to as well that writing a book. It's another form of art, isn't it? It's music is an art, and comedy is an art, and sculpture is an art, and it's all about interpretation, and everybody interprets things differently, and all you can do is create what you believe to be true to yourself and put it out there, and that's all you can do.
Yeah, I mean, especially for a biography, I think it's a lot more. If of course it's interesting reading about someone else's. How they were dealing with certain things, and it's especially in a musician biography. I think it's quite a lot of. It's mostly like curiosity to find out how they did it and how they deal with certain things, and it's cool. I think it's more. I don't know if it's that much of arts involved. I think it's almost like just like one vision of things again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's very one-dimensional somehow.
So yeah, I mean it is, because I suppose it's kind of different because there is it's a lot. Well, once it's down, it's there, it's written, and there is kind of like, unlike sort of music or sculpture, it's kind of, it's more linear. So and there's a definite narrative, as opposed to maybe the others, which are more, you can interpret more about.
A bit more open.
Yeah. So as regards like Mixhell, you've got Mixhell and Cavalera Conspiracy, two very, very different musical projects. Are you still playing drums? As in, do you still practice drums? Are you practicing mixing more, or is it kind of just a whole? How do you fill your days, I guess?
Well, actually, with Mixhell, I do quite a lot of drumming. A lot of people they didn't really understand the concept behind this project, which it wasn't really.
I'm one of them then. I'm one of those people then.
Yeah, but for a lot of people, it was just like, well, he became a DJ.
Yeah,
and that was not really the case. Mixhell, it's electronic music, a lot more influenced than what I do with Cavalera, but it's still it is a live band, and then sometimes we do DJ sets, and that's also another complete different thing.
Right,
but
okay.
It is something that it's very similar somehow to what I do, as far as like the process of writing music and putting it out. It's very similar to what I've been doing for the last 20 years. It's just different formats. With Mixhell, of course, it's a lot faster. It's based on little releases with different labels and different collaborations with different people. So it's a bit more, I don't know, not as complex sometimes as putting out an album with Cavalera, which it's a bit more predictable, where you do your album, you get together with the label, and then you put it out.
Yeah. There's a kind of theme amongst what your brother does and what you do, which is you're both very collaborative. Do you think that comes from your Brazilian roots? Where does it come from? Because it's a really interesting kind of trait that you both have.
I think it's cool. I mean, for me, I looked at it as all the collaborations we do. It's usually with people that we really know really well, as far as like, it's not just you picking up a phone and saying like, yes, I would love to collaborate with Mariah Carey, and then just get the manager behind to try to make that happen. So those collaborations for me, they're like, it's fine, but it's not really how it works for stuff that I do with Max. It has to be something a bit deeper, as far as like some kind of a relationship with a person, and then from that it becomes more of like exchanging ideas and writing something together. So those collaborations usually they're not as shallow as just two managers liking the idea of the artists working together.
Yeah, two managers and a marketing department saying, "Hey, wow,
yeah.
If we get these two guys together, we'll cover that dollar and we'll cover that dollar and we'll appeal to this market and that territory." Yeah. No, it's a lot more organic. Basically, it's people who are friends creating together. So, hence, that's what you end up doing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very, very down to exchanging more than just being friends and bringing that into some kind of like a music. That's pretty much the idea on our collaborations. Like, we're really good friends. We have a lot in common, and then from that moment, you start maybe shaping up on something musically, and we really enjoy that.
Oh, that's cool, man. I mean, and just so you know, the interview we're doing now is going to come out on the Christmas podcast, and I'm creating this huge thrash metal special Christmas podcast, right? So we've got Schmear from Destruction. I've got Craig Lucero from Forbidden, Steve Souza from Exodus. And your good self, which I happen to think is also a fucking amazing lineup for a band. Because we got
that'll be a cool band too.
That'd be fucking awesome. We got Schmear bass, backing vocals. We got Steve on vocals. We got Craig on guitars. You on drums. It'd just be phenomenal. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to make it happen. But but
it sounds good though.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, that's my Christmas present to myself and all the listeners, frankly.
Yeah, that's cool.
And speaking of like old school thrash, the new album, Jesus Christ, you went back to a place that was pretty kind of primal and brutal for the album. I mean, you are, it's 100 miles an hour in some places.
Yeah, it was weird because like the thing is, me and Max, we never really talked on how we were gonna do this record, and I think it was very spontaneous. Like, of course we had a few demos that we exchanged back and forth with some riffs and very basic stuff before we went on the studio. But then I think what really shaped this record, it was the fact that the first 3 songs we did, I decided to do like 3 fast songs to start out.
Yeah.
And then after those 3 songs, I looked, me and Max would sit down, and then we were like, man, this is cool. Let's continue on this vibe. It sounds, really cool. The atmosphere, it was really nice in the studio. So that's when the record kind of like took shape. Before, we haven't really talked about it. It was just like, let's do, a record of stuff that we're enjoying right now musically, and put it out. It was no big crazy plan behind of going back in the revisiting our past somehow and all those things. It was pretty much just capturing what we wanted to play at that moment and how we wanted to play, and that's how the album came out.
It's cool, man. For me, it's got a bit of it's almost got a bit of a nail bomb feel about it. It's got that kind of, the old school production. It's kind of real stripped back, and it feels like it feels like those kind of old days. It's quite inspiring, I've got to admit.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing for us, we had a really good time doing the record, and that's, I think, also that translates in relation to something like Nail Bomb, where we're just like not really thinking too much, overthinking with stuff. So we just went for it, and I think in that sense, this record, it has similarities to something like Nail Bomb.
But it's the whole age thing as well, isn't it? It's like when you're young, you just fucking do stuff. People later on ask you, like, what was your thoughts behind this and this, and you're like, well, we just did it. That's like, we were young and we just fucking did it. And then the older you get, you find yourself kind of sometimes just thinking about stuff too much or kind of questioning yourself, doubting yourself.
Yeah,
sometimes you just got to go for it.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons that we were able to do that, I think, is the fact that we also have different projects.
Yeah.
And I think that takes away a bit of the weight of doing everything in one project.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, I think, it's very positive for any musician to have more than one thing happening. So this way you can do certain things with less pressure, let's put it that way, where you can just go and do it. And then sometimes you save yourself to do something completely different in a different project. So that's, in that sense, I think it really works.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just try to do everything in one thing and put all your ideas. And so I think it's positive to have many things happening at the same time.
Well, it's kind of a bonus as well, really, isn't it? You know, it's you get to work with your brother, you get to revisit that heavier side of music, you know, not that heavier side of music, but that more sort of, you know, metal, basically, straight ahead. And it's kind of all mixed up in one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing, you know, when Max invited me to do Cavalera with him, that was the idea behind it. It was like, of course, we love everything we've done in the past. We're very proud, but we can't really leave, you know, off the past. You know, just like a cover band of ourselves.
Yeah.
So the idea it was to write new music, and whatever comes up, and we would play and have fun, and hopefully people will enjoy what we're doing. That was the attitude of doing Cavalera, and that's why I jumped in it. Because after I left Sepultura, I was like, I don't really want to do this. You know, unless it's something like this with that kind of vibe, where I also do with Mix Hell, which is a bit more free.
Yeah. Have you ever been tempted to actually put a band together? I know you played on the Strife album, and have you ever been tempted to go back into that band environment, or do your previous experiences kind of push you away from that?
I don't know if I have the age anymore.
Oh, you're not. Hey, man, just steady with that, okay? Because we're the exact same age.
Yeah, but I think mentally, that's what I meant. It's like,
yeah, I know.
Man, it's really cool to do a band when you. Nowadays, I don't know. I like projects more than bands. You know, where you get together, you do things, and you have less responsibility behind.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my vibe. It's rather than putting together a band and practicing and doing. For me, it's much more fun if you just do little things here and there and get together with people that you love and, you know, and appreciate their music.
And the thing is, as well, if you get together, like you say, with people that you love and you appreciate their music, if you're not doing a band together, you don't actually spend enough time with them to fall out. Because ultimately, you know, whenever you're in a band, I mean, you're in bands with people that you like, but sooner or later you're going to fall out about something. You know, you're going to get on each other's nerves. It's nice to just dip in and dip out.
Yeah, I think that's the positive thing about it. You know, you do have enough time where you give space to each other, so you never like fed up to the point that you don't want to see that person anymore or something. So it's good. Yeah,
exactly. And it's nice to hear you using some proper British languages there as well. Fed up. That was you've definitely been over here a while now, man. How are you enjoying the English food, or have you found yourself a good Brazilian restaurant?
Well, actually, I did found a good Brazilian restaurant, but we also cook a lot at home. And of course, you know, London, I think I don't know if you go a bit more to certain areas of the UK, but London has everything, man. You know, yeah. I think people are just lazy if they complain that they can't eat well here.
Absolutely.
There's so many, you know, like different styles of food in London that it's ridiculous, you know.
Yeah, totally.
So I think, you know, and even, you know, it gets a bad rap from people that don't know, you know, like, of course, if you know enough, there's amazing food every corner here, like great stuff, you know, from all over the world. So it's nothing to complain about food here.
Yeah, absolutely. I was in London today, and I had Hawaiian for lunch. That was a new experience.
Wow, I don't think I ever been to an actual Hawaiian restaurant. That's really cool.
Yeah. There's two. There's one opened in Soho, and there's one near Goode Street Tube Station, just off Percy Street.
Nice.
So yeah, look it up. I'll send you the details.
Yeah, man, that's cool.
yeah, no, it's awesome. But it's like you say, they are. I mean, I've lived here 20 years, and people are always saying, "Oh, it's London's so expensive," and there's this and that. It's like, well, from the expensive thing, if you're only ever on the main streets, you're always going to be treated like a tourist. But all you got to do is get off the main streets and walk for 5 minutes, and you'll find some really cool shit.
Exactly, man. And I totally agree with what you're saying, because it's, you know, I also have a tendency to say the same thing about music when people complain that
Yeah.
I can't find any good music. All I listen to my old stuff. It's like, you're just being lazy. You know, of course, if you search enough, you're gonna find amazing stuff happening right now in music. So,
do you know what? You're absolutely right, and you've reminded me of an amazing story. Well, it's not an amazing story; it's just a story. But it's amazing that I'm telling you it. I back in the day, guy, it must have been probably, I think it was about 1996, around the time of Roots. A friend of mine was a journalist working at one of the major newspapers in the UK, and he said that he was having a discussion with his friend about music, another journalist, and this journalist was basically saying there was nothing original out there anymore, there was nothing new, nothing exciting, and music was pretty boring. And Roots hadn't been out that long, and I was blasting it in the flat all the time and telling him, like, you know, all about you guys, and showing him all the artwork, and that, you know, you'd been and played with these tribes and stuff like that. And he came home one day and he was saying, "Oh, we had this big argument at work about music being boring." So he hauled up Sepultura as an example and told this guy all about it. And so they went out and they bought the album that afternoon. And the guy wrote a huge piece in the newspaper about a week later about how, you know, these guys from Brazil were the saviors of original music.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really cool, because it's really about that, you know. It's really about searching, you know.
Yeah,
I've been hearing this my whole life, you know. Like from my dad, he used to say the same thing, like, "Oh, all the bands now are shit," you know. And that's gonna be the same in 10 and 20 years, you know. If you're not gonna search for music, you're not gonna find it.
Yeah,
so you can go back to your collection and listen to your records, but I have to say that, you know, when you were in the urge for searching for music, it's really cool. You know, if you're a music lover, it's always good, you know, go to a certain, you know, record shop, or even go online and just do a bit of researching. It's enough to find a lot of cool shit happening.
Yeah, exactly, and even now online as well. I mean, you know, you can stream stuff. You can go to YouTube. You can find stuff, and I've always been that way. For me, it is always about discovering. I always want to be discovering the next great band, the next great album, the next thing that's gonna, you know, make me just, you know, feel fucking great when I listen to it. And yeah, it's great to have a whole collection of stuff that you go back to and dip into, but for me it's always about what's coming next.
Yeah, I think that's cool, because otherwise you just become, you know, like lazy. You just like, I don't need anything else, you know.
Yeah,
and I think it's not healthy, you know, for any person to be like that.
So do you still keep up to date with the metal scene? And obviously there's you know, thrash is as big as it's probably ever been, if not bigger at the moment. Do you still keep an eye and an ear on all of that stuff and your old contemporaries?
That's the thing, you know. Of course, it's very, very hard to keep up with what's happening, you know, right this moment. What's the coolest, you know, wave of things? And of course, by having, you know, lots of friends and you know, a lot of people telling you, you know, certain things, you get exposed to a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of fresh, you know, new bands, but at the same time, I don't really keep in one style, you know. I try to do a lot of research in different styles of music, and then I can, you know, have a crazy collection of stuff that I can go from ambient, you know, dark music to all the way to extreme, you know, like very hardcore or metal and electronic music, and also tribal music. So all those things for me are very very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Speaking of which, all different projects you guys are working on. What did you think to Kill or Be Killed?
So it was cool. I think I was quite surprised how
melodic
pop,
it is.
Yeah, melodic and pop in a way.
Yeah, me too.
I was expecting something a bit more hard, especially coming from the background of like when you put together like the names. But it was also really cool to see that they went into a different direction with the project, and that's refreshing too, to see that they went surprised a lot of people with it. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, I was surprised in a good way. Very, very much so. Are you guys going to be touring the new record anytime soon?
Well, that's kind of like the plan. The plan it is to on next year to do a few tours with Cavalera, like try to do some summer festivals in Europe and club tours also. But pretty much the whole year, it's going to be trying to balance between what I do and then what Max do, and then do Cavalera in between. That's the idea we have. It's hopefully we can do a lot of shows, putting together all those things.
That's cool. See, so you're still a fan of going on the road?
Yeah, I mean, it's great, especially nowadays. It's more like a family thing, I get together with Max and we do some shows. It's almost like a little family reunion thing where sometimes I bring my kids, he brings his kids. So it's really cool to see that.
Yeah, it sounds it, man. I mean, it must be strange to look back. Do you ever look back on those years when you weren't talking? It must seem like kind of almost like a bad dream.
Well, I think it happens in pretty much any relationship, sometimes with brothers, sometimes, with people that you're very close that you need that time apart, and I think at the end, the only thing that I think it's really cool is that, life is so short that we did things in time where we came back and rebuild our relationship as brothers first and then make music again together. So, because sometimes some people don't have that chance, they fight, grow apart, and then when they decide to get back, maybe one of them is not here anymore. So I'm glad that we did that in time.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. I've been in that situation, and there's nothing worse than not being able to recover that relationship. Someone passes away or something like that. And, and you're just left with regret. And I know that's one thing that I find. I'm really thankful that we did it in time. Because we know life is crazy. It's we can be gone anytime. Yeah, and. Was it becoming a father for the first time that kind of inspired you to recontact Max?
No, not really. I think it was more, like I think situation, with me leaving the band and then I thought that, like in my life, that's kind of like where I needed to be at that point, was the whole reconciliation in the sense that that was what I needed to do. And then, of course, 10 minutes after that, Max already is thinking music because he's such a like a workaholic that he was like, "Hey man, how about if we play some stuff?" And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's gonna be cool." And I was like, "Okay, man, okay."
Yeah, but one step at a time. First time you've spoken for 10 years.
He's such a workaholic. It's crazy. It's like I can't believe it. Like.
Yeah,
every time I call, he's somewhere. He's never like stopped touring, and it's mad, But it's cool. That's what keeps him, like really going,
Yeah.
He gets all his energy from that.
I know. I was trying to track him and Gloria down to have a chat in the summer, and it was like it was like I ended up like trying to chase them around the country, and it was it was like they were on the run. They're never in the same place for more than like 12 hours.
I know, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, no.
I thought that he was going to slow down a bit, but he shows no signs that he's slowing down.
Well, good. You know, I mean, it's hey, look, you know, he's kind of like a flag bearer for that constant putting out the I mean, you always say judge an artist by their catalogue, not by their high points, not by their low points, but by their body of work, and that's just serious body of work.
Yeah, I call him the James Brown of metal. He's like the hardest working guy in business, man. He's like James Brown, non-stop, like crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I read a quote of yours recently where you said you thought, you might have been misquoted, so don't get. We'll find out. Where you were quoted as saying that you thought, like, you know, the classic lineup reuniting would be a cool thing for a tour or something like that. Firstly, was that correct? And you know,
yeah. I mean, I still say that. I think it would be really cool, but at the same time, I also put in the sense that it's not something that is happening, you know. So
yeah,
I know I totally understand the fans, you know, having this thing in the back of their mind, but you know, in reality, what I have right now, just my personal like reunion with Max, where we go back and you know we play songs that we wrote when we were like 14, 15 in our room, and that's for me that's amazing.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, if it happens, it's not something that I lose my sleep over it. But at the same time, we're open to it. If it's happening, it's going to be cool, and we're going to make it a very cool way.
Yeah, I mean, you and everybody else, man. It would seem like the entire world, other than Andreas, thinks it's a good idea. Which is a shame. Maybe he'll come round one day. It might just take a few more years.
Yeah, that's fine, man. You know, each person has a completely different way of looking at things again, you know, so yeah, so it's fine.
Yeah.
If I didn't have this whole thing happening with Max, it would be something that would, you know, it would make me more angry about it, like, oh man, we should do this, but it's not really the case.
Yeah. Have you sort of spoken to them at all since you left the band?
No, I saw the guys a few times, but again, you know, like, it's so crazy with everything we do as far as like the schedules that we don't really, even if we tried, we would be hard to see each other.
Yeah. And like you said as well, everybody's life moves on. I mean, you live in London, you know, they're still touring their albums, and you know, everyone has their own path.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. So, going back to what we were talking about right at the beginning, would you describe yourself as an Arsenal fan then?
Yeah, I mean, I grew to get into, you know, and it's funny because somehow I think Arsenal, it's a bit similar to Palmeiras in the sense that, you know, it's like Chelsea. I would look more into, like, it's more like São Paulo, which is a bit more posh in a way.
Yeah.
Like with the team, and Arsenal, it's in between, you know, like I think, of course, they are a bit more corporate, you know. I mean, as most teams in the Premier League, it has to be a bit more corporate, but still, it has a bit of more of a Palmeiras vibe to me, where they're not quite like on the top and, you know, like winning everything. They have its moments where they go, you know, down and up. So that's So I have to say that I come here and then I continue to suffer. It's not all joy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, did you go to the FA Cup final?
Yeah, actually, I went to see that. That was really cool.
Oh man, that's so cool. I'm really pleased for you, because I know it was typical Arsenal as well. I haven't won a trophy for years and years and years, and then go 2-0 down.
Yeah, I remember, like, because I went with a friend who got the tickets, and he's also an Arsenal fan, and we were just looking at each other going, like, really? this gonna really happen? It's like,
yeah.
And then of course, like they turn the things around, but still, in the beginning of the game, it was almost like, man, they're gonna go out like this. This is so annoying, you know.
Yeah, I know, and you start thinking of all the people that you know who are going to be laughing at you and making fun of you.
Yeah.
And you think,
I mean, that's the story of my life. other people laughing at me because of football, man.
Oh man, it sounds like being a Palmeiras fan is not an easy thing.
No, and I think that's why I'm saying, like, you know, Arsenal of course had some years where they were like amazing, but
yeah,
I think for most years it's really people taking a piss of them, you know, and I can relate to that.
Yeah, I mean it's it's been many years. I know a lot of Arsenal fans, and that FA Cup final was just almost too much for them to take. But it's coming round. It's coming round. Are you a season ticket holder?
Sorry?
Are you? Do you have a season ticket, or do you just have a friend who?
Like one of my best friends, he has a season ticket, but he's also like he plays electronic music, and he travels so much that I get to use his season ticket pretty much all year.
Right. Oh, that's nice.
So I'm really pleased with that, you know, because it's like most of the time he's traveling and he's like, yeah, you can go, you know, and then it's a free season ticket I have, so it's quite nice.
Yeah, that's cool. So obviously you're encouraging that friend to stay on the road, tour more.
Make more albums.
Yeah. Hey, do you need a hand? Do you need a hand in the studio? Let's get this album finished before the season starts. Get on the road again.
Exactly, man. You guys gonna blow up again? So I can be chilling with your season tickets.
Excellent. So, have you? Well, another thing that obviously London's got lots of. Have you been to any? Have you been to any comedy clubs while you've been over here?
Not yet. I have to say that, like, we tour so much that usually when I'm home, I try to be more of like a family.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't really go out that much, as far as like, unless I have to work or, you know, to play a show. Usually I chill a lot more at home with the kids and everything. So, but I definitely would love to check out some, especially here, you know, like finding more about the humor here. It'll be fun, you know, to see how
yeah. Look, live comedy is like music, you know. Comedy is like music. You got to go see it live.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
And the other thing where it's similar about music as well is going to see comedy is better if you go and see it in some dingy, sweaty little basement that can only hold about 150 people. They're all the best clubs.
Yeah, I think I can totally see the similarity. You know, it's like,
oh yeah,
especially in a smaller place, because you put you the test, kind of like the test of fire.
Yeah, that's right.
And
absolutely,
it's the same with the band. You know, like if you go down, it's almost like a microscope where you play in a small club, and you really have to dig down and do your thing. Otherwise, you're not going to survive, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Well, when the audience is like 2 feet away, you know, you've got to deliver. There's no hiding place.
Yeah, and it's, I think it has a lot of similarities. You know, it's like with timing and also it's the same with the band. If you don't have your shit together, they're gonna be the first ones to smell that a mile away, you know.
Absolutely, and also it's like the other comparison as well is set lists. You know, you've got to get your set list right, but you've also got to be flexible, because if you get halfway through your set and you're thinking this is not going the way it should be, you've got to be flexible enough to move stuff around to go, right, okay, we got to move shit around because we need to either win them back or take them off somewhere else. You know, and you just got to be flexible.
Yeah, otherwise you just do your thing and you're not really challenging yourself.
Yeah, and you're starting to do the autopilot thing where
Exactly,
this is the order I do it in every night and it works. So, and then one night it stops working. You think, oh right, okay, shit, and I need to pay a bit more attention and maybe move stuff around.
Yeah, no, it's totally true, man.
Cool. Well, look, I will. I'll get Andy. Well, I'll send you some links to some comedy clubs, and I'll find out. What I'll do is once I've finished recording, which I'll switch off in a minute. I'll find out what part of London you live, and I can give you some really good tips on where to go. Because if you're in North London, there's one particular club that I know in North London that I play a lot, which is certainly worth checking out.
And next time I'll definitely come and see you, man.
Cool, that'd be awesome.
Around.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Are you anywhere near Crouch End?
I'm in Tufnell Park. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're not a million miles away at all. You're not far away at all. It's a really cool club, man. It's a really cool club.
Cool.
You'd love it. Basement. No windows. It's the oldest club in London. It's been going for 25 years. Everyone's played there, and if you go down there, I'm down there quite a lot, and when you're always seeing comedians down there testing material out. People like Eddie Izzard just turn up to go and try 10 minutes of new material out, and
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a really, really cool place, man. Well, I'll send you a link.
You've got my number. If you send me a text with like a message with your email, I'll send you an email, and then we have our contacts.
Cool. Okay, man. Let's do that.
Cool.
I'll introduce you to the world of the comedy underground.
Yeah, man. I'm totally down.
I tell you what, that'd be great. We'll do a comedy project. Yeah, drums and drums and stand-up comedy. We've got to fucking make it work somehow.
Yeah, like blast beats and laughs.
Yeah. Jesus, talk about what's the key to comedy and drumming? Timing. Fucking hell. We'll soon find out if I can tell jokes in time. Well, look, Iggor, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time out to have a chat.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. I'm going to send you a text with my email, and then I'll send you those links.
Great, man. We'll be in touch.
Cool, man. Have a good Christmas, and I might bump into you in an Arsenal game because I'm going to a few soon.
Yeah, man. You see me suffering there, throwing stuff.
Yeah. And look, I'm a Leeds fan. Don't talk to me about suffering.
Oh man, come on. That's us.
Yeah, it sucks. All right. Anyway, look. Hey, we're back at the beginning now. We're back at where we started.
That's it.
Yeah.
We can't stop with football shit.
That's it. All right, it's absolute pleasure, Igor. Lovely to speak to you. I'll send you all that information. Have a great Christmas, and look after yourself.
You too, brother.
See you later, man.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care, bye-bye. So there's Igor and I chatting away like a couple of little cockneys, eh? Covering everything, football, food, you name it. It was a really good chat, actually. He hasn't managed to make it to a gig of mine yet, but hopefully he will. It's been it was really cool talking to him, actually. Really cool. Just a thoroughly nice guy. I know. I always fucking say this afterwards. And look, I will be honest. If I do end up in an interview that is shit or with a dickhead, you will know. I will tell you. Well, you'll be able to tell in the interview for a start. But everybody that I've met this year, and I suppose as much as a thanks to you guys for listening, a thanks to everybody who's been on the show, which is it's quite a long list. It's the guys from Gamma Bomb, Zentrix, Lawnmower Death. Hey, Lawnmower Death? No, we're not had that one. Chad from Hell Yeah, Bobby from Overkill, Tommy from Prong. I mean, the list goes on, and it's been awesome. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it, and I can't thank you guys enough. Again, I know. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Keep it going. Keep shouting, talking bollocks at gigs. Bollocks back. Talking bollocks. Let's see if we can make that a thing. Let's see if we can annoy some really big bands. It'd be really good to go along and just fucking annoy some people. Just so you know, I did try and get, as I mentioned earlier, I think it was in part 1, I did try and get Mila on the podcast, but he didn't have time. I also tried to get Machine Head, even if it was just, well, not even if it was just, but I was actually quite keen to speak to Phil Demmel and have a little bit of a chat about Violence, but he wasn't available, neither was Rob. There is a couple of interviews that are hovering out there. There was going to be a Thrash drummer special. There was 2 other drummers I was talking to about coming on the show. They both said yes, both up for it, but it's just been proving difficult to get hold of them and actually nail down a time. So maybe that'll be early next year, but plans for next year, more interviews, obviously with the good and great of metal, but and not just like old thrashers. I mean, for instance, the interview, January's episode, the 2 bands featured in January are going to be Destrage or Destrage, and Protest the Hero, 2 very modern bands. One of them had an album in my top 5 of 2013, and one of them has an album in my top 5 of 2014, so a nice little bit of symmetry there. And weird thing is as well, Protest the Hero and Destrage were actually touring together in Europe. When Destrage weren't allowed to do the UK leg, they were replaced by another band, so it's quite cool that they're ending up on the same podcast. Oh, isn't that fun? Isn't, again, a nice little bit of symmetry. But look, all it remains to be said by me is, yet again, thank you very much. I really, 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 really appreciate. Has anyone spotted that I'm just filling now? No, seriously, I really, really appreciate all of you guys. It's Christmas time, there's no need to be afraid. It's Christmas time, we let in metal and we banish AIDS. It's just rhyming here. But in this world of plenty, I can spread a smile of joy. Yeah. I honestly don't know where that came from. That was that was a little bit of I think that was James Hetfield does do they know it's Christmas? Do they know it's Christmas? Do they know it's Christmas time? Yeah, again, yeah. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I think I'm coming to the end of my metal life of this year. That didn't make sense. Any kind of sense. Anyway, I'm just arsing about, just having some fun here now, because it is the end of the podcast. It's the end of the Christmas podcast. So there it was. Talking bollocks, thrash metal, Christmas special. Hope you enjoyed it. Now it's gone. You can listen to it again, and there might be a little one coming in between Christmas and New Year. You're just going to have to hang on for that now. Anyway, I've got a bit giddy. I think I'm actually just a bit really excited that I've got to the end of this, because it's been playing on my mind doing this whole thing, and I wanted to make sure that I got it out there, and it's done. It is done. We have done the Christmas thrash metal special. I hope you've all either having had or are in the middle of an enjoyable festive period. Happy holidays to you all. Your friend in metal, Howard H. Smith. I am signing off. I'm not signing off this year, but I'm certainly signing off for Christmas. I hope you all have a great time. Next time I speak to you will be between Christmas and New Year, and I can tell you what presents I've got. It'll be so exciting. Of course it won't be. So anyway, the way to go out is with some thrash, isn't it? For fuck's sake. This is Scimitar. This is the final track off the Plague in the Vatican EP. This is called Innocent X. I hope that's not a fucking Roman numeral on the end of that fucking song. That's for fucking sure. You know what I'm like with the old Roman numerals. Bit of a fucking dickhead. So anyway, this is Scimitar, Innocent X. Make sure you check them out. Find them on Facebook. Check us on Facebook. Check us on Twitter. Check us on everything. Spread the word. You're the best audience anybody has ever had. I cannot thank you enough. I really mean that from the bottom of my bollocks, from the bottom of my balls. I just want to say thank you so much. It's been a great year. Let's have some fucking fun next year as well. And this is Scimitar Innocent X, and this is me, Howard H. Smith, signing off, peeps. Happy Christmas, yo ho, fucking ho.